Dear ladies and gentlemen, we greet you at UCMC Press Center. And the topic is report of government public initiative Together Against Corruption. Our guest is Oksana Velychko, coordinator of the government public initiative Together Against Corruption. Oleg, Pilat, BRDO land expert. Lev Partskhaladze, deputy minister of regional development, construction and housing of Ukraine. Mykola, Kuzio, deputy minister of ecology and natural resources of Ukraine and issues of European integration. And Mykola, Shambir, deputy minister of social policy of Ukraine. Welcome. Good afternoon, dear friends. I will start. Today we are going to present a report of government public initiative Together Against Corruption, and we are going to tell you about the measures that were introduced and that those that need completion because government changes. So we should bring those reforms to results. First, about anti-corruption actions and fighting corruption. These are two different tasks. If you imagine a storage facility with products and the fences that have a hole in them, so you may imagine people who go there through this hole and take away these products. And law enforcers, anti-corruption forces create conditions in order to catch those corrupt people. And prevention is to repair this fence, to have some technical means to see whether the goods stored properly and whether they are protected. So this is not a simple task. So the fence can be really obsolete and bad, and there won't be any estimation of the situation, and the system will be incomplete, and corruption appears when the system allows this. So we should mend these holes in order to stop corruption. And government and public initiative Together Against Corruption, we do not work with all the bodies. We have a list of anti-corruption actions in each ministry, and we work on separate areas concerning fighting corruption and preventing corruption. You can manage only those things that you can measure. How to measure actions against corruption? So we divide all actions in steps. And if we are speaking about, for example, prevention, when getting driver's license, you know that some people do not pass examinations, they just get a license. So first we should adopt laws, bylaws in order to fight this, then to have a pilot project. We should understand how to put technical means. For example, people go to pass exams and they should be properly identified. And then we should have a pilot project, and after this we should study results of the pilot project and to spread this experience to other service centers. So we establish such proper steps, and each quarter of the year, in the framework of our initiative, we monitor how the ministers implement these projects. And based on the results of monitoring, we prepare reports Together and Against Corruption. And due to these reports, we may see the results of the ministries in this sector. We see what they planned and how they implemented those plans. So if the ministry won, it means that they won in this aspect. So they met the requirements. And we do everything with participation of the public, together with experts. We invite them and we provide them with opportunity to see what governmental bodies do, whether the steps were implemented. I've said that this is a long way. We have measures that were implemented, positive stories, automated means to compensate, to refund VAT, and sometimes it seems that we achieved success, and then we find out that the flows of corruption went another way, and corrupt people find new ways how to do business. We have positive stories, for example, the red list concerning construction norms that they should be adhered to, and technical councils deal with these issues and activity is monitored. But from time to time we find examples when some actions were committed, some violations were made. So we also have some anti-corruption actions that are continuous, that were only started. This is concerning digitalization, creation of registers for social help, and also automated systems concerning environment, electronic register of sick leaves, also actions concerning excessive responsibilities of officials, so they got narrowed. And we hope that the new government will continue to make the right steps that were started by their colleagues. And we have good stories concerning overcoming corruption lists and the full implementation of anti-corruption measures. And I hope that our colleagues will tell you more about these actions. Thank you, Oksana. Good afternoon, dear friends. Our ministry joined this process. I thank everyone who participated, and we thank Oksana because there is a difficult situation concerning deviations from construction norms, and the Commission is set and everything is recorded. And the Commission, this is 25%, it consists of the members of the public, 25% of the Commission. So now there are no complaints about this system. When you prepare a document, always there can be some options. Also, we have one more problem in construction. These are construction permits. This is not provided by the ministry, but by the central body, by the Architecture Bureau. And there are big problems concerning transparency. There is a high level of corruption actions. We should understand the situation. In the framework of decentralization, the majority of responsibilities were transferred to local power. There are some complaints And also the complaints about the third category, because they have first, second, and third category. Also, we broadened a working group, and we worked on the problematic issues, and we developed a plan of actions how to overcome these corruption risks. As Oksana said, we cannot catch them, but we can overcome the risks. We have 25 points in this plan, and there are points that are easy to do. Others need changes in legislation, and we are waiting for the new government and the new parliament. I would like to speak about 2 points. We want to do them quickly. This is introduction of electronic cabinet. Why we need it? When the documents are submitted, the person who submits the document, he may see how this document is going through the system. He sees where this document goes. And the second point, we established commission on deviations, and we worked on the principles of transparency, and we want to introduce the same principles in the commission at the architecture bureau. And so how they do it now, the documents are submitted by the applicant, and some document is missing or something is wrong, and his documents are rejected in accordance with current legislation. And the person who submitted the documents cannot understand why his documents were rejected. Now we will have online mode of work with the commission. So a person may be present, or he also may appeal against the decision, and also he will get a protocol and he may discuss the issue. If we do it, we will decrease the rejections, the number of groundless rejections, because we see that we have about 50% of ungrounded rejections, and we won't have them in the future. We work together with the BRDO and Together Against Corruption, and we will implement this plan as soon as possible. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to participate in today's presentation, and even more for cooperation concerning prevention, corruption actions, and I believe that we need such initiatives of Together Against Corruption. It's like a driver, like motivation for us, because it is a long way. So these results that we were able to achieve, this was due to Together Against Corruption initiative, and thanks to other partners who fight corruption in the sphere of environment. Also, I would like to mention an event that was mentioned in the report, and it had a lot of consequences concerning increase of prevention of corruption, and transparency is one of the main component in corruption prevention. I mean, the Day of Environment, we worked on this within the ministry, and NGO helped us, and international partners, and we have the strategy of development and the strategic ecological assessment and procedures that are digitalized now, and we may see all the documents concerning environment impact assessment, all the reports. And I believe that this is important step to improve decisions in the sphere of environment. About prevention of corruption, one of the main instruments, this is the process of formation and implementation of the policy, and that cannot be done without proper and precise and comparable data, and this data should be accessible to a broader public. And this initiative that we have, it is called Open Environment. This is really important for us in order to continue develop the policy in the environment protection sector. And we have an ambitious task to open data, and we face problems with data. And the different institutions, they provided doubts about this data, and it was important to set proper order and to have the data based on which we can take decisions, and also to provide proper data to the public. And now we have the process of implementation. In some part we need to adopt some legislation in the sphere of water resources. There is new monitoring, and we compare our data with European data concerning quality of water. The same situation is concerning air. 2 weeks ago, the government adopted the strategy, and we hope that the government will implement the strategy. We may know about the state of the air and to measure efficiency of the measures. And this is also about the use of budget money, how to use them efficiently. So the open environment system was created, and people will have precise information, like in Europe, concerning this information, and to take evidence-based decisions, and also to measure the efficiency of the policy, not only by current indicators, but also to improve the environment. Good afternoon, everyone. Oksana mentioned it correctly, that one of the indicators that measure their work is that they provided measurable indicators concerning fighting corruption. And this is the instrument for our work, and it helps us to improve those indicators. It provides us with opportunity. So we started our work together, and I've said that the main task, my task was to provide proper social support, quality social support, and fighting corruption and adherence to laws. These are really interconnected issues, and I believe that we were able to have really good cooperation, and we thank you for this monitoring, for this control. And in the ministry, we create a social system, and we believe that this will help us in systemic work with other social bodies. They are waiting for such software. It was developed and previous system was developed in 1996, and now there are more comfortable instruments, and we will be able to develop the system. What we did together, not only control over development of the system. We involved in this work together and against corruption initiative. And they, as NGO, provided support. So the public was involved to work on the documents, and I believe that we will continue our cooperation because we need professional help. Because there are issues that are implemented in different systems, and people who implemented them, they see weak places and may help us to avoid it. So this is our joint work directed to the goals, those two elements that got united, and I've mentioned it before that this is important. So for some subjective reasons, there are some delays, but I believe that we will be able to complete our task, and the system is really complex and the work is really important. Nevertheless, if we reach our goals, we will provide transparency in social services sphere. We will provide an opportunity to each person to manage those processes from their personal cabinets and to provide social help to those people who really need it. And I believe that this will help us to develop our social sector. I believe that this project is the main, but also we work on other issues. This is humanitarian assistance. We work together on it. And we have information system, the first stage. We launched it, and this provides us with opportunity to work openly and quickly work on the documents. And I believe that we will be able to find donors for further development of the system, because it is really needed. There are no representatives of the Ministry of Environment, and together we would together against corruption initiative. We worked on the e-system for sick leaves, and we work on normative basis. And I hope that the system will be launched. And I believe that this is important for social and insurance sector, and we will be able to monitor in this way payments on the sick leaves, and the situation is difficult in this sector. And it is important that in this sphere there should be legality, and those measures and the expert support that we got, I believe it was really important for us, and I believe that we've achieved really a lot. Good afternoon, dear friends. I represent Office of Efficient Management, and I'm going to tell you about land resources management, about the plan. So this is provision 83. This is was adopted in 2016, and it helped us to decrease corruption in the sector, and the team together against corruption. This work is really important, and state cadastre, they had the opportunity to create legal acts to provide decrease of corruption risks in land resources, and now we are waiting for the new parliament to be formed and for the new government, and we should have a list of measures that would decrease corruption in land resources. And we think initiative Together Against Corruption, they developed comprehensive approach to decrease corruption risks in land resources. First, it is proposed to narrow such thing as free privatization. Now, there are many violations in the sector. If in 1990s or 2000 the system worked, and now you can get free land only in demographically difficult regions, or to get land plots. If you are a participant of ATO, you may get free land plot. So we should provide this land for free for ATO participants or those who built a house and didn't privatize this land before. Also, other measures to simplify the procedure for documenting land plots. Now this process is really long. This is about 8.5 months. Some administrative procedures should be cancelled. We may cancel certificate on the number of lands, or some documents on land plots, or some documents of state cadastre, and we studied statistics and consequences. If we cancel such administrative services, this won't influence the land use. So these are formal procedures that double each other. There are more radical proposals concerning documenting land plots. This can be done completely electronically, starting from draft to registration of land plots. You may see all the process through cadastre map, how it is going and what stages exist there. So the document of such a volume should be developed, and this new data, and 70% of documents, they duplicate each other. Why do we need to provide such data that create corruption risk? We may work exclusively with the digital data, and everyone may see how these land plots are documented. What can be done to simplify the procedure? To provide proper information through electronic means. For example, the data that is used for documenting land plots, maybe this data may be brought from state register of property, or from land cadastre, or from the individual entrepreneur register, and to use this data in the land sphere and in adjacent spheres. But together with the Ministry of the Regional Development and due to representatives of state cadastre, we simplify the procedures and reduce the number of documents about the use of land and functional use of territories. This is the main, but one type of data is used in the sphere of land management, another in the sphere of city construction. And the representatives of architecture and city development, they have different documents for the same things. So in this way, when we simplify the documents and you reduce the number of documents, we will prevent corruption in this way. And I believe that we will reach good results with new government and with new Верховna Rada, and together we will be able to reach good results. We would like to thank our partners, and then we'll have Q&A session, and I would like to say several words about the format of our work, how we work together, government and the public. So how they fight corruption in the state bodies. They create commissions and they develop anti-corruption programs. And to the public come to say what can be improved. Then the government overcome these risks when they work on them. The public is not involved because they do not have time to continuously do this. This is like building fences. You put, for example, one brick or one wooden block, and then you leave. So we should have continuous work, then we will have good results. A lot of facilities stay unbuilt, and we should not stop our anti-corruption actions. We have at least 4 documents that are coordinated with other bodies, those who help us prevent corruption risks, and we hope that this ball will be provided to the new power, and they will continue fighting corruption. We would like to thank our colleagues who cooperated with us under behind closed doors. We may quarrel, but we should be constructive. We should provide our proposals. We should not criticize publicly. We should think what we can improve. We should find common ground and to focus on this. We should be constructive. In 90% of cases, we were able to do this. Our actions are going on. We have good progress in each of the areas. So we will continue our work. This government is going away, and we will continue with the new government. And also, we ask the representatives of NGOs, our partners, to provide proposals concerning anti-corruption measures that should be continued, that should be implemented. And we got 120 anti-corruption actions what should be done in different ministries, different departments in order to prevent corruption. And a lot has been started, and there are some new measures that should be implemented. So we have big plans for our work. Please raise your hands and ask questions, please. Introduce yourself, please. Oleg Listopad, Active Citizens News Outlet. To the representative of e-regulation. You plan to simplify the procedure of documenting land plots. At the same time, I cannot understand. How will you take into account that part of the lands are within the natural reserves or near the rivers? So people build there, and there will be chaos in the sector. I have an impression that your office works for business. Your office works for business. You do not protect the environment. You do not protect consumers, especially through this wonderful initiative. Is this your philosophy or something else? Please explain this to us. I will explain. The Office of Efficient Regulation does not have the sector that works on environment. the main aim of the Office of Efficient Management is to improve SMEs. We have construction segment, agrarian development sector, sector of transport, IT and communication. So we do not have experts in the sphere of ecology. But this is not true that we don't involve the data that is important for environment. We work on data that helps to preserve some objects. For example, we work on coordination of data in the sphere of state land cadastre and on coordination of data that is in construction cadastre. If we coordinate the data, it will be easier to reflect this data in electronic resources, whether it is city building cadastre or environment cadastre or land cadastre. And for business and for the public, less money will be spent in order to understand what data it is, and the population will benefit because there will be official data, and this data will be well coordinated between the bodies. Do you have other questions? If there are no further questions, we thank you for attention. And this is the end of our press briefing. Thank you.
А ви, коротше, природозаповідного фонду, завдяки вашій ініціативі.
Івана Мовна, у нас є заповідних територій.
Не бачите ні довкілля, ні споживачів. Я розумію, що це не до вас питання, що питання до Гончарука, який вже питання. Хто знає де. Тобто там успішно впроваджувалося.